What's up, everybody? Welcome into this Friday edition of the Pack-A-Day podcast. The only thing better than Friday is a Victory Friday. We get to celebrate one of those rare Victory Fridays this week. Packers get a win against the San Francisco 49ers, 34-17. Yes, it's a big win in the fact that they finally got a win in San Francisco, exercised some of those demons that they had in the state of California from a season ago. But let's point out, this isn't a game that we should probably take too much from. I want to say, first of all, though, there should be no apologies for winning this football game. Everyone would have been ready to run everyone out of town if Green Bay somehow lost this game. There was everyone going out on Twitter and saying how worried they were about Kyle Shanahan, that the Packers were going to lose this game. It didn't matter who lined up. Let's just say talent matters, right? Even the best coaches in the world, let's look at Bill Belichick this season, who doesn't have the talent anymore, can't win football games on their own. And Kyle Shanahan is a tremendous football coach, but when you ravage any team that much, you are going to, not be able to compete at the highest levels. And obviously San Francisco had a very, very tough time against the Green Bay Packers in this game. Nick Mullins just did not look good. They didn't have the running game that they normally would have. Not having George Kittle at tight end as both a weapon and as a blocker was a huge loss. They didn't have the wide receivers they would normally have. They're banged up on defense. This was a skeleton crew, an XFL team, if you will, a fourth preseason, third quarter type team, but Green Bay should not be apologizing for any of it. A win is a win. It doesn't matter. Again, everyone would have been on them if this game was closer, if for some reason Green Bay lost this game. So no apologies needed. You will take any win that you can get in the National Football League, but I don't think you take too much from this game either. I don't think you say, well, all of Green Bay's, offensive concerns and maybe not having a second or third wide receiver are gone because Adams and Jones are back. Well, again, this isn't a 49ers team that was playing with a full deck in this game. And I certainly don't think you can look at the Packers defense and say, well, everything's fixed now. They stopped the run against the 49ers. Their run defense is fixed going forward and no further issues. Give them credit for playing better. The pressure was better. The run defense was better. Gave up a couple drives towards the end in garbage time. I don't think anything of that. Don't take anything away from the overall Packers defensive performance because of those couple drives. I thought they had a good game plan, and I thought they ultimately went in and took care of business against a 49ers team that, is still very well coached on a very short week with no time to practice this week. COVID concerns, a presidential election, just a very, very odd week, and Green Bay still went in and took care of business. So kudos to the Packers and their organization for that. I know it was a very crazy week, but they went in, took care of business, got the win, and moved on from there. So what do we take away from this game? And really the main thing that I want to go over is simply Davante Adams. And Davante Adams, after the game, Jason Wilde asked the question, are you the best wide receiver in football? And he basically said, yeah, I think you can say that. And I just want to pause and take a step back and say, let's just enjoy Davante Adams right now, because I would give anything to go back and watch another training camp with Brett Favre. I would love to go back and watch that secondary with Charles Woodson and Nick Collins and Tramon Williams during that Super Bowl run. I would absolutely love to go back and watch Ahman Green rush for near 2,000 yards back in that season. And all of the greats that have come, I would love to go back and watch. I would love to watch all 22 cut-ups of Reggie White and be breaking down tape after Reggie White after each game. I would love to go back and watch some of these players as they were in their prime. The connection that Rodgers and Jordy Nelson had for a period of time that was basically unstoppable. They could beat you deep, intermediate, short. It didn't matter. They were just on a totally different wavelength and able to beat you in so many different ways. And right now, we are seeing an incredibly special player in Davante Adams, who's playing at the absolute top of his game, who is uncoverable one-on-one, who can beat you in a variety of different ways, and he is an absolute nightmare for defensive coordinators right now. Because what are you going to do? Because if you go out and you go man-to-man, one-on-one with Davante Adams in a corner, it doesn't matter who it is out there, Aaron Rodgers is going to read that defense, and he is going to attack one-on-one with Davante Adams every single time. And he will continue to get targets, however many targets they can give him in those one-on-one situations. They will look that way first every single time. And Rodgers is able to read that, pre-snap. So do you just take out man-to-man coverage one-on-one against Davante Adams from your playbook? Probably, but that changes things quite a bit. So what are you going to do after that? Are you just going to play zone defense all game? Okay, Minnesota did that with some legitimate level of success. Granted, no Allen Lazard, no Aaron Jones, which changes things quite a bit. But, okay, you could play some zone defense, but Minnesota caught Green Bay a little bit off guard in that game by going completely cover two, something that Minnesota never does. Normally, if you go one type of defense over and over and over against Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, they're going to kill you for it. They have plays that can beat every single type of defense. And if you go cover 2, cover 3, or just play zone defense, period, against the Packers all game, they're going to pick that up. They're going to run a bunch of zone busters, and they're going to beat you because you're just playing the same defense over and over. I know there's going to be wrinkles, but you get my point. All right. So you don't necessarily want to just do that. So do you double team Davante Adams? Okay. That's a bummer for Green Bay because you're going to get, a safety over the top and a corner playing underneath. First of all, even in those scenarios, we've still seen Davante Adams be able to get open underneath because the safety's playing over the top. The corner's usually trying to take away one thing, but even in this game, we saw corners play outside leverage, and he's still able to out-leverage him to the outside because he's just that sneaky of a route runner and gets ridiculous releases off the line of scrimmage. And if you decide to do that, now you're committing 2 guys to Davante Adams, and you're basically playing 9 on 10 for the rest of against the rest of the offense, which, again, if you're healthy and Aaron Jones and Robert Tonyan and Allen Lazard and the rest of the group is in there, that's an advantage for Green Bay, especially with Aaron Jones running the football. So Davante Adams just is the key that unlocks so many things for this Packer offense, and the fact that you cannot cover him one-on-one right now is such a cheat code. What he's able to do at the line of scrimmage, what he's able to do in contested catch situations, that first down that he converted where the corner was all over him on 4th down, that was a huge play. Everyone knew that ball was going to Davante Adams. The corner basically tried to jump through his jersey, and Davante still came up with it. The play in the first drive where he catches the bomb down the left sideline for the touchdown, somehow gets the hand and the elbow in, rolling touchdown catch, a beautiful ball by Aaron Rodgers, but this is special stuff from Davante Adams. And again, I can't stress enough, just take time, watch him, enjoy him, because I know he's still 27, and I know Green Bay is going to re-sign him to another contract almost for sure, but these things have a tendency to go fast, and before you know it, these things are over, and either Davante's on another team, or he just, gets injured or doesn't have that same step, whatever it may be. These things go fast in the NFL. NFL is not for long. That's what it stands for, right? But right now, Davante Adams, top of his game. The game is so slowed down for him. It's like Neo in the Matrix at the end of the movie where everything just slows down and he's able to stop bullets. Like, that's what it looks like out there for Davante Adams. When I say he's playing fast, I'm not talking about 4.340 fast. I'm not talking about MVS's speed down the field. I'm talking about everything is in slow motion to him. He knows what defenders are going to do almost before they do it. He knows what space on the field is going to open up, and he knows what release and what combination of moves that he needs to do on any given play to get to that open spot on the field where the space exists and he can get open and he can cause problems for the opposing defense. A special player who just might be, as Davante Adams said today, the best player in the NFL. If you go back and look at the last 10 games that Davante Adams has started and finished. So basically the only one I'm taking out of this is the Detroit Lions game where he left early out of that game. If you go back the last 10 games that he started and finished, 94 catches in 10 games, 94 catches, 1,249 yards, and 12 touchdowns. If you extrapolate that out through a 16-game season, what he's done in his last 10 healthy games, 150 catches, 1,998 yards, and 19 touchdowns. That's what that would average over a 16-game season. Just absolutely incredible stuff by Davante Adams. So fun to watch him. I've mentioned time and time before, going and watching him on tape on the All-22 is so fun. Watching him in practices during training camps, he takes everything so seriously. His stretches, where everyone else sometimes goofing around, whatever, he's taking every stretch seriously. He's taking every drill seriously. He is the type of leader that you want in that locker room. You cannot pay him enough money because he brings so much to the table. Kudos to Davante Adams, another virtuoso performance from him, and he could not be doing it at any higher level than what he's doing it right now. Last thing I wanted to go over is a underrated aspect of this Packers team. And I'm sure a lot of you have noticed it, but I don't think it gets called out quite enough. And that's the versatility, specifically a lot of the players on this Packers offense. We've seen Billy Turner, right guard, right tackle, left tackle. Lucas Patrick, left guard, right guard, center. He's even played a snap at left tackle this season. John Runyon, he's played right guard and left guard. Rick Wagner's played right tackle and left tackle. Elton Jenkins has played every position except right guard. Tyler Ervin basically has played wide receiver from snap one in the very first practice of training camp this season. Lined up in the slot, lined up, practice with the wide receivers. Every drill group, he's with the wide receivers. I'm sure in the meeting rooms, he's with the wide receivers. Wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver all year long. All the running backs are out. What does he do? He goes in at running back, has a really impressive performance. I know that stats and the numbers weren't huge, but being able to fill in and just run the offense like Aaron Jones was in there, being able to split out wide, do everything he normally does, that's a really big piece, and that versatility pays off huge dividends. So the pieces on offense for Green Bay that are able to move around and go into so many different spots. That's why Green Bay's had so much success, regardless of who's been hurt, whether it's been Aaron Jones or Davante Adams or every offensive lineman that's missed games this season. Green Bay's been able to plug players in, get their best 11 players out on the field because of the versatility that exists on this offense. And it shouldn't go without mention, and it shouldn't go without notice, because those players that have that versatility are worth their weight in gold. And I know sometimes, maybe you look at Billy Turner and he'll allow, some sacks here and there. And, you see some of those type of plays, and maybe Tyler Ervin and Rick Wagner aren't the alphas that you are looking for on offense. But these guys have so much value on this team, and that versatility and their ability to do so many different things pays off in so many different ways. And it's a huge key to why the Packers are having the success that they've had on offense so far this year. Enjoy your Victory Friday, everyone. I hope you have a tremendous weekend. I will be back here tomorrow, probably breaking down more of the game. If you have any questions, you can always reach out on Twitter. DMs are always open. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. I'd be happy to always answer any questions that you have. Make sure to check out Andrew Merteg and Kyle Fellows on today's long-form version of the Pack-A-Day podcast. But until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.